I've been told multiple times, like, forgiveness is something that takes a really long time. I'm not sure, like, if I'm there yet. My relationship right now, at this moment, with my past, with my parents at least, you know, it's over. It ended the day I was kicked out. I don't know what caused them to hate me so much. I don't think it's that big of a deal if a person is gay, and then you can hate somebody so much that you'll kick that person out of your life. One of the things that's been running in my head for the longest time is, how do I want to tell my story, How do I take control of the narrative? Taking control of your story and sharing those pieces are the ones that you always try to hide from the world. I think that's the strongest thing that anybody can ever do. Pose. When people ask me that questions, like, tell me about yourself. Right now, I always introduce myself as, like, I'm Kayden. I'm from Ludhiana. Been a recent immigrant here, it's been almost 5 years. I work at a credit union. And then after that, I'm like, I don't know. I like playing soccer. Yeah, so that's usually my description. When I was in kindergarten or something, so my sister's almost 14, 15 years older than me. I was like a little play toy, like she could take care of. Every day she would take me to school, and then at lunchtime she would bring me food and stuff, so I would get so excited to see her. Yeah, that's the earliest memory that I have of childhood. I necessarily didn't have a great childhood, I guess. Like, I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. And I came at a period in my parents' life where they were kind of not expecting me. And then I guess that caused a lot of drama in their own life. My mom was always focused on the household chores, and my dad was always out. And then when he would come home, he would just sit in his own room and drink. I remember a lot of fights, very, silly things. Oh, my food is not warm enough, and then he would throw the plate. I don't have a fond memory of my dad and my mom, just being loving and supportive of each other. It was around that time my sister went to college and she moved out. They thought, it would be better for me to go to a boarding school, because the education was better. I guess that was their mentality. Just want to talk to my mom and hear her voice, and that'll make my day. That'll make my days like that. I was good for a week just listening to her voice for 5 minutes. I didn't really have a sense of love and belonging, kind of from very initial stages in my life. When you're the weird one out, you don't know where to find that. So I would have these hand gestures or whatever, our way of talking, which was kind of feminine more than, being masculine. And then anybody could look at me and say oh, this guy kind of doesn't fit in. That kind of made me fall out of the norm even more. I was really good with the girls, so like I would have more girlfriends instead of like having boyfriends at school, right? Well, I mean, having other boyfriends. I liked things that they were doing. I liked the way they talked about things. The boys would always like talk about like things that would never interest me. Well, you kind of wonder about things why other kids don't like you, but you don't really see that, like, you know, why you are not like them. Like when I look at myself, like, you know, like how I was, then yeah, I was a flamboyant kid, always sassy, throwing snarky comments. When we're kids, we kind of don't try to make sense of that. Like we behave how we want to behave, like what feels more comfortable. We got our summer vacation. Then for summer vacations, when I would come home, like we would always be visiting our relatives and stuff. And then I would just spend time at my uncle. Like I had a very distant cousin, I guess, a third, fourth cousin, like visiting us. He ended up touching me. And then I was like, oh, this feels weird. And this feels out of place, and I don't know how to make sense of this. I kind of had my first experience as being a gay person that I felt like something was wrong with me. I thought I was the problem. Nothing felt right. I just had a sense of disconnectedness from the world. Part of my identity was shook from the core. I guess like I really didn't had anybody in my life, like, or my family, like, where like I was kind of emotionally close to somebody, like I could just let it all out. Having this experience and internalizing it, I just became really rebellious. Just like whatever was told to me, I would question it, I would break it down, and then I wanted to like act in my own way. You know, just how this pressure is in Indian society, just kid, you know, your parents always forcing you to study, you know, because they're like, that's the only way out to lead a better life. So I think kind of like the family pressure got on me. Now I gotta be something. I gotta prove that. And they wanted me to take like a higher level chemistry classes or physics classes. They were like, oh, you know, like you should be able to go into this engineering exam. You know, you should start preparing it sooner. And they would send me money. They're like, oh, you can pay for this and you can go register yourself, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't. I just started saving that money. And I thought saving that money was my way out of my family's life or whatever life I was leading at that time. After finishing grade 11, like I was so depressed. I'd given up on studies. I didn't want any connection with my parents. I didn't want any connection with the world that I grew up in. Just wanted to pack my bags and leave. I would go to Bombay or I will go join an NGO or something. I knew that I wouldn't make much money, but at least I would be happy. And I started planning my escape and I guess my life that way. One day I was home and and then I just decided it's time. I just packed the essentials and then bought a train ticket and then went on my journey. And that journey, it was excruciating. I realized I just boarded the wrong train, in which I didn't have the ticket for it. Hopped on one seat, and then, when they come to check the ticket, like I just started bawling my eyes out. The whole journey, I was just crying. I remember like I had this notebook and then I'm trying to write and then like it's filled with like my tears and I can't write. I was writing about like what I was on earth for. Where do I fit in? Why don't I fit in? that kind of stuff. I haven't opened that diary still because I feel like I don't want to reopen that trauma, you know. It was like stopping at places, sleeping at railway stations, and then, you know, just roaming around, and then staying in a hostel, and then just crying. I had left my home. I had left every single person I knew in the world, and I didn't want to go back. And it was like a blank slate. Not having so much experience as how to kind of exist in the physical world and being an odd kid. Yeah, I don't know how I survived those 20-something days, but I did. I started imagining like what my mom would be feeling. That really broke me. Almost 20 days in or something, I caved in and I was like, I'm here. Can you come get me? Did file the police report saying, for me being missing, just like I left no communication that I was gonna be leaving the house. I don't think they knew how to deal with that situation. I knew they were hurt, and I knew I was hurt too. They didn't have any idea how to deal with that. Yeah, they were just quiet. I was already broken from what I did and things that I was experiencing. I didn't really have any control over life, I guess, or myself, or where I was going. And then I didn't really want to fight it anymore. I just gave up. One night, my parents were gone. They told me they were going to come next day, but they came in a day early. So my dad found me in bed with another guy, and then he physically abused me or whatever, that moment happened. He said, if anybody else in the family finds out, you're done. Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't deny it in that moment. And it was kind of like owning up to myself, be like, I am this person, accept me. My dad took control of the narrative from there on. He just wanted to send me here to Canada so that I wasn't part of the family anymore. All my life was leading up to that point where they would disappear from my life. Coming here, I think that was, that didn't really work out in his favor. I focused a little bit on school, and then, a couple of semesters in, started, I guess, mingling with the queer people here. So there was this one guy that lived closer to where I was living, so I started hanging out with him. One day, I was just sitting in the park, and then I think I was kissing him or something, and my cousin saw me. They were like, what were you doing? And I'm like, I just told them I was kissing a guy. And then they're like, why are you doing this? What's wrong with you? My cousin kind of beat me up after that. He's like, you're a gay, you're a faggot, you're this and that. Something that's not part of the norm, people don't like that. Because that creates some sort of hatred, right? To me, like, that's a good enough reason of why somebody would be homophobic, and then that's how I make sense of it. Like, they're just ignorant. If they know about all these things and they still want to act in a way of hatred, then there's something wrong with that person. Really didn't try to hide it from anybody, so I guess the family slowly figured it out, and then I wasn't ready for the repercussions. I was being true to myself. I wasn't denying that I wasn't gay. On the verge of being homeless in a country where you're temporarily here and then have nowhere to go. If being true to myself is gonna entail this, and this, then what's the point of life? That was pretty much the lowest point in my life. I got to a point where I was just like, just gonna jump. And then I didn't. I guess you do not really, think logically when you're going through these motions. If death is not the answer, what's the least you can do? And then the answer that I got was, the least I can do is just live out these fears. Just don't repress these experiences. I guess there's a beautiful side on the other end of it. I wanted to believe in that. It was very much survival. Guess wanted to live, didn't want it to die. So I was trying to reach out for everything that I could. I don't know what I was doing. I guess I just messaged a whole bunch of communities and stuff, and I messaged Amar to see like if there's any way like who could help me.
One of the reasons I founded Share Vancouver, which is a queer group for South Asians and friends, was because there was a number of suicides in the community. There was a boy from Afghanistan who jumped off the bridge. In a suicide note, he said he was straight, but he was called queer, fag, homo. He was bullied every day at school, that it was so miserable. He was a victim of homophobia, and he ended his life. When Kayden emailed me, it seemed overwhelming. How can I help this kid from another country? He emailed me and said he was homeless, helpless, had no place, had no food, had no shelter. His family disowned him for being gay. I thought this was a joke. Could this actually be happening? So me and my friend, one of my best friends, went to go meet him. And he was shaking, his eyes were shaking, he was skinny. My friend says, what's the point of helping people who are gay and brown in your community if you can't help this kid?
Reaching out to Amar, him just comforting me like everything's gonna be okay. That was kind of like the first thing that made me like, like I kind of, like there's a place for me, I can, there's other people out there like me who, I can relate to. And I think that was kind of amazing in a way. The world felt like a little better, right? I guess something that was missing in my life, something I guess I was looking for or I was just not trying to find was a person who had lived that similar kind of experience and then I come out of it. Yeah, so Amar was that person in that moment, just giving me hope. Yeah, and making me like see that, like it gets better from there onwards.
He's still suffering. He misses his mom. I've seen him on the phone call his mom one time in India, and she just hung up on him. That just broke my heart. I couldn't deal with it. Could you imagine the grief and the pain that this kid must have gone through to be totally disowned for something which he has no control over?
I know my mom never really rejected me. I don't think she will ever be able to reject me. Yeah, I just want to get to a place where, where I can see her, kind of resolve things for the last time. Just a lot of questions.
It's sad. Every child wants to have the love and acceptance and support of their parents.
Love the child as a child. They are personally very badly hurt and injured emotionally by other people. They do not understand them. Do not try to change it. You're gonna waste your own life for that. But no, this thing you cannot change. And let them live, and you be happy, they be happy. Yeah, embrace them.
I'm proud of Kayden, and I hope he knows that I'm proud of him, because I know I'm very hard on him sometimes. I have high expectations for him. He is a smart kid, he's intelligent, he works hard, volunteers. He is really a gem. Nice to see you, nice to see you. It's about time. He's changed his life, and he's changed our life by being such a great kid. He's given us purpose in our life, to my mom and to myself.
I am so proud of him. I just treat him as my own baby. And he's so gentle, so kind, very loving, affectionate child. And I used to worry about him a lot. Many nights I could not sleep. What is the future for that kid? How he feel inside? He is God's child. God gave us the opportunity to love him. I will always love him. And if he understands that for himself, personally, I will be very happy to see.
I mean, in a sense that sometimes I wish, why I wasn't born to such an amazing parent like her, because, my life would have been so much more easier. And I'm really blessed to have her in my life right now. I think I'm in a lot more happier place than what I was in the last 10 years or so. I mean, I know I'm relatively young, but I feel old because I've had to endure so much in my life. An appreciation for things, which I guess younger people don't have. I'm more open to experiences now. I'm more open to putting myself out there and being vulnerable with people. Falling in love, falling out of love, falling in love again. Yeah, just, trying to experience life and the colors of it, which is amazing, I guess, in a way.
We need to treat each other with dignity, respect, with love. Gay people are people too. They need to be loved too.
Try a little self-compassion, you know? We are our own worst enemies. Just go home and, and tell yourself something that's loving, something that's kind.
Oh my God.
Superstars in a row.
I know.
A couple nights ago, he wanted to back. So the more time coming close, the more I'm getting nervous.
That's cute. That's cute.
It's like your hair is going.
Miss Vag.